So loneliness will make you rich. Let me explain what I mean. So when I went to college, I joined a fraternity. I had all these friends and, high school friends. My college was actually in the same town as my high school. So it was a really good setup in theory. And I'm rushing, I'm pledging. I finally become a brother. I'm drinking like crazy. I'm doing most of the drugs you can think of. And I'm just losing my mind. Like, that's the best way to describe it. I lost my mind. Every time I would drink, I'd black out like every single time, and I'd become like aggressive. And maybe it was because of the lack of sleep, or just most of the nights drinking, and I'd get into these fights, whatever. I got kicked out of the fraternity, and so I get kicked out of the fraternity. My friends from high school are all working. They're trying to figure their life out, so they're all busy. And so I just become completely alone, and it's just me. I literally spend 7 days a week working, working out, working, and on the side after work, trying to figure out something else that I can do to make money. I'm reading a ton of books, but I have like no friends. And out of that, I joined a solar company, and I became the top salesman again, but the schedule was the same. It was just wake up, work, go to sleep, read books while I'm not working, listen to audiobooks, and also kind of doing some other things on the side as well. So after a while of that, weekends, missing every bar night or, party or whatever. We actually weren't 21 yet, we're still 19, 18. So, we weren't going to the bar anyway. So it was just me. And I just, every day was just alone, and I'd come home, tell my parents how my day went, go to sleep. And it was maybe once every other week I'd go and hang out with friends in someone's house and whatever. But that was it, man. So I was alone. And then out of that, since I had no friends, I got an opportunity to go to California and go work with this company. I was like, screw it, let's go. I mean, I have nothing here back at home. I have 1-2 friends. I'm not going to let that stop me from possibly changing my life. Go to California, 21 years old. I make $500,000 in 1 year. And then, so now I'm in California. I don't really have any friends out there because it's a new place. And also, I don't really go out. I don't party a lot. So, and I'm just working my butt off. I get home and I'm exhausted. So from there, that company has me go start a team out in Florida. After a year or so of that, I go and build my own company. And then I'm in Tampa for so long. I start making a lot of friends, start going out, meeting girls, whatever. And that's when like my productivity went down. So when you're in a position where you have a bunch of friends, right? Why you have all these friends, so you're comfortable. You're super comfortable because you have friends. Like, why go and try to reach the top limit of the world and try to unlock new rooms to be in when you're surrounded by people? There's no reason to. So what I'm getting at is this. Those periods of loneliness in your life cause you to talk to only one person, which is you. And you actually get into this mode of like psycho confidence where you're like, dude, I am the best. I'm different from everybody. And you can take loneliness 2 ways, right? There's the incel and then there's the savage. The incel is going to be like, man, everybody hates me. Life sucks. And, it's probably because they're spending all their free time while they're not out partying and being hungover and all that stuff. They're spending it playing video games, just wasting time. So watching Netflix, whatever. So if you're going to be alone, work on yourself, have conversations with yourself constantly, journal, read books, right? Listen. So one of my best friends, I like to say at that time, were the people whose audiobooks I was listening to and podcasts, because I'd be sitting in my car or I'd be taking a shower, cooking, whatever, listening to this audiobook. And so for so many hours that like my friends were those people. Grant Cardone was a big one. Zig Ziglar, Brian Tracy was like sales guys at the time, and other business people. So when those are your best friends, man, think about how much you can up-level. You've heard that you are the 5 people you hang around the most. I kind of want to change that to you are the 5 people that you listen to the most. You don't have to actually hang out with them. So when those are the people that you're spending all your time with, imagine where you can go. And that's why I've surpassed everyone that I graduated high school with, or who even graduated before me. I actually don't know many people from my town that have done better than I'm doing. And I'm, 21, 22 years old at the time. Now I'm 25. So The point of that being is when you're alone, you get to have this psychotic self-talk, and build yourself up to be, you know, miles and miles beyond the people that would have been around you. You know, I was talking to a kid at the basketball court the other day, and he's like, man, I'm homeless. I live in my car. He's like, I got around the wrong people. My parents passed away, got around the wrong people. And so he knew that. And my thing was this. Some of the guys were suggesting, hey, go to church and find a good group of people to be around, or, just find better people to be around. And my response is this. It's like, yeah, that's good, but that can be hard to do, especially when successful people don't really want to spend a lot of time around people who haven't found success yet, unfortunately. But if you can't find good people to be around, then just be by yourself. Because if you're the only one that wants to reach this next level in life around you, then good. Then the 5 people you hang around will just be one, and it'll be you, and you both have the same goal. You and you have that same big goal. And so there's no one pulling you down. And you're going to end up listening to those audiobooks, those podcasts, and just being around all the time insanely high-level people. So that's why I say loneliness is a superpower. It will make you rich, so long as you don't become an incel and just start playing video games. And then you're really not alone, right? Because then you're friends with the losers on the video games. But yeah, use loneliness. If you're just around people that don't really want to reach that next level, which most of you are, and don't lie to yourself. Most of you don't think the way you do. If you clicked on this video, if you made it this far. So spend time by yourself. Find mentors that maybe you're not in the same room with, probably aren't, but you're listening to their content, and you're becoming them. So when I would go out and do sales, this is how I got so good at sales so quickly. I became, Grant Cardone, Zig Ziglar, Brian Tracy, Tom Hopkins. I was those guys because literally all morning, all night, I'm listening to them and talk about sales. I mean, how would you not be an absolute weapon if that's who you're listening to constantly? I'd be sitting in a close, and suddenly I would pull out this close that I'd never even used before. My manager never taught it to me, my coworkers. It just came out of nowhere. I never even really practiced it, but I had heard it that morning or maybe a week ago on the content I'm listening to. So it's the same thing with business. I run into a problem and I'm like, oh, wait, I know exactly what to do, even though I've never dealt with it before. So loneliness is a superpower. Most of you guys need to be lonely because you're not around high-level people, and those high-level people aren't going to want to be around you until you have some success yourself, or you're going to have to pay to be in those rooms. This is another big key that I've done. I've spent multiple 6 figures. When I say that, I mean over $200,000 on being in rooms with people bigger than me. And it's been one of the best investments I can make in my entire life. I wouldn't take that 200 grand back. I wouldn't do it. I actually want to spend more on that. So that's the other thing. But again, if you're unsuccessful so far, you don't have the money to do that. My first check I got, $3,000, I put it into a mentorship. And even if the things he taught me, I didn't learn too much. I remember he taught us about credit cards and playing that game also. It didn't matter. I was in a room. I knew I invested $3,000 in myself, the first investment I'd ever made in myself besides a pair of shoes or something. And that just gave me another level of confidence of like, oh, I am a weapon. I'm a tool. And I just invested money into that tool to be a stronger tool. And it just deepened the commitment I had in myself. And I'd wake up in the morning and be like, well, we're investing in this tool. We better go make a return on that investment. So yeah, it's better to be alone right now than to be with the losers you're currently around. It's way better to just be alone. And then when you can, obviously consume the content of people that are a next level of you. Be their friend without them even knowing who you are. And then when you do get the money, actually you can pay to be in the rooms or at least be on those Zoom calls or phone calls with those high level people. And there is a difference. There is a bit of a difference being able to actually talk to these people or be in a room with them than just listening to their content. Because now, I've talked to Grant Cardone on a live call. I've talked to guys worth hundreds of millions of dollars before. I've been in rooms with them. I actually took a private jet with some of them before. And so now, when I'm thinking about some guy who's like, boom, like super high level, I'm like, well, I've been in the same rooms as these people. I've had conversations with these dudes. We've shared lunches, dinners together. I've been on a private jet with these people. They're not much different than me. The only difference is they're further along. And my benefit is, I don't know how old you are listening to this, but I'm just haven't been on earth for as long as them. But even if I was older, I would just say to myself, hey, they've been in the game longer, right? They know something that I don't. But that doesn't mean they're beyond me. They just have more time in the game than I do. So loneliness is a superpower. Don't think you're a loser. You'd be lonely for a year, 2, 3 years. You're going to be the biggest winner anyone's ever seen. Spend that time working out, working on your body as well. Not just money, but money is very important. I think it's way harder to become a successful, multimillionaire than to have a sick physique. I mean, go to the gym, your local gym. There's a bunch of freaking gorillas out there, and you'll see them walk out and get into their old freaking beat up Camry. So, and when I see that, I'm like, man, if you could just direct some of that weightlifting energy into your finances, you'd be super successful. But people are scared to do it, man. Money scares people, especially for a lot of us grow up in the middle class. It seems so not for us. It really does. And that's what those books did for me is it changed that mindset of, okay, I'm meant to be middle class. That's fine. I'll work hard. I'll get the white picket fence in the HOA neighborhood. But it changed my mind to be like, no, that's money is for anybody. Whoever goes out and gets it. So go be lonely. If you're around a bunch of losers, if you're already with winners, then great, keep it up. But no, get around people that are way beyond you, that make you feel intimidated, make you feel small. Because I promise you're going to leave that event or whatever and be like, you're going to have a fire under your ass. But wow, this is possible for me. I need to be there. The thing about when your friend group, so your 4 friends are worth $10 million each, and you're still, making $50K a year, but those are your 4 friends, you'd be like, man, like I am way behind these guys. Whereas when you're hanging around with the losers, the 50 grand is like, actually, I'm doing better than George. I mean, I know Ken's doing a little bit better than me, but I'm doing better than George and Jim. So I'm pretty good, No, when your friends are worth millions of dollars, you'd be like, holy crap, I'm poor. Like I'm a loser. I need to get this going. So, yeah. Well, yeah, so go be lonely. Don't be around losers. It's better to be alone than to be around a bunch of losers. Way better.